Hey Droid Builders, earlier today I posted some pictures of my R2 and this transmitter with the new to me, Kyber system installed, and got some questions from some of you folks about how I have it set up, and in particular some of the things I saw on the display in the pictures. So I thought the easiest way would be to do a quick video to show you what's going on. For starters, you generally want to add some buttons. Part of the appeal of the Kyber is the ability to add extra buttons to your transmitter to control sounds or motion. Right now my droid is just kind of your basic tank droid, so foot and dome drives, sounds, and lights. I don't currently have any gadgets going, but I'm working on them now, and they'll be added soon. So on my droid, it's your standard forward, backwards, left, right, dome, left, right. The vertical axis on this gimbal right now isn't used for controls. It does have a purpose, but right now not for actually moving anything around. With the Kyber system, I added these 6 buttons to the back. Initially I was going to go with this panel with 12 buttons here, and this is just a really slick arrangement. It would have had to hinge to get access to the battery door here, which wouldn't have been a big deal. I really like this setup, but in my kind of experimenting, I felt like these buttons just didn't have a much tactile sense to them, and I was having trouble telling what button I was hitting. I already had these big buttons lying around, and they're very, there's no question which one you're hitting. I initially planned to add 4 to each side, but when I opened up the transmitter, I found in this area of the case there are some holes for gimbal adjustments, and these rubber grips are held to the plastic case with kind of little rubber push pins, and they go through in this area. And I was afraid if I started drilling holes here that it might start to come apart. So ultimately I went 3 with each side. It worked well. There's plenty of room inside here except for these upper buttons, and they were just interfering with the gimbals. So I actually had to space those out a little bit. It's not a big deal. You can actually buy the entire case for this radio for like 40 bucks. So someday if I find I don't like this, I may redo it. But for now it's working well. And on the back I have the 6 buttons that I added. These 2 buttons are also, these function with the radio and are programmable with the Kyber system. So 8 buttons there on the back. Additionally, I replaced these 4 switches. These were just toggle switches on the standard Frsky with buttons going through the Kyber, and this switch over here I replaced with a button. So I am currently using 11 of the 15 available buttons through the Kyber resistor board, and that resistor board is actually inside the transmitter down in this corner. I'll post some pictures of this opened up when I post this video so you can see where that's at, but the board is down here and all your wires just run down. It's really not that difficult to do. This knob is the potentiometer that I tapped into for the resistor board, so unfortunately this knob is no longer functional to do anything. So let's go ahead and power this up. R2 is actually sitting behind me, already powered up.
Hello there.
So first off, we get our main screen, picture of R2. I have main battery voltage. That is the battery voltage on the droid through telemetry. There is a Frsky sensor that does voltage and current. It just plugs in line between the battery and the droid, and then with a signal wire that goes to the receiver. Sound, this one that says sounds 1, that is currently, that's my indicator for the Kyber toggle, which is this switch here. The Kyber system lets you toggle the buttons between 2 different settings. So if you have 15 buttons, it's now 30 effectively. So with this switch, I have 13 buttons that are configured to function with a switch. So those 13 buttons now can trigger 26 sounds or actions. Then those are the 8 on the back, these 4 here, and this one right here. This button right here I have set up as my all stop for the Kyber, so you can stop sounds. So if we were to start R2 going, you can hit that and kill it. If I had any gadgets like a liveform scammer or a periscope, you could kill it with that also. This corner switch here is a rate switch. I have that set up for multiple speeds for my drives. So up, zooming around in a big room, you'd have a high speed, or you can turn it all the way down to a very low speed for maneuvering in, say, like a hospital room, something tight quarters. Our last cell down here currently says active. That is my kill switch. I think it's an important safety thing to have on your droid. Hopefully you can hear, it's his dome motor going in the background. I have this tied to this 2-position rocker back here, and when I run my droid, I usually just have a finger back behind it, and if at any point I want to, you just flip that switch, it goes inactive, and now none of the controls on the transmitter do anything. It's locked out. It's a good safety thing, or, you know, you need to set the receiver or the transmitter down on a table, say at a con, and you're worried about somebody picking up and monkeying with it. Nothing works. Initially, you know, you're just having a conversation with someone, you're not paying attention, you want to bump a switch or a lever by accident, so now that's dead. My philosophy on kill switches is that they should be quick and easy to kill the droid. It should be more deliberate to reactivate him. So the way I have this tailored is with some logic switches in the radio. Logic switches are, like, if you're not familiar, are programmable things. You can put in parameters to say that, you know, say 2 things need to be done at once, which is what I have set up here. So to reactivate the droid, this switch needs to be returned to its original position, and then this stick needs to be held in the low position for 5 seconds. I may configure that to 3, I don't know, but you can see eventually it goes back, and then now our controls work again. So, you know, again, hopefully you can hear that motor going. Hit that, everything is dead, nothing works. To rearm the droid, the switch goes up, hold my stick low for 5 seconds. Light turns green, and now once again, we have sounds. And we can kill it. My next screen here is I have set up as a map of my switches on the back. The buttons, the 8 buttons on the back, if you can read these. It says what they do, so, you know, top left corner is Leia. Then with our toggle switch here, it changes colors and it changes what they do. So top left corner is Peter. Additionally, I think I mentioned before, I have my droid volume is on this slider. So, you know, if we were to... our next screen is another control map, and that's of the standard switches and buttons, or locations, not standard switches because I replaced them, but this is the transmitter controls and what they do. If you're like me, you know, like I say, after every once in a while, I kind of forget what does what. So that's kind of nice to have on there. Unfortunately, the little widget that allows you to program this on the radio, unlike the previous screen, doesn't change with our toggle switch here. But on my droid currently, none of these things change with this switch anyway. I could add a second page of this if I had a different setup with each. And then my last screen I currently have set up is all telemetry data. These top 4 are RF signal information. One of the things I really like about this transmitter and receiver is that it is dual band, so it runs on 2.4 gigahertz and 900 megahertz at the same time. They're redundant, so as long as the droid sees a signal from one of those, we should have control. So these top 4 in this corner is data on that. These 2 here are, again, from that current and voltage sensor, so main battery voltage and actual current. So you can see, you know, as I move things, what his actual current draw is. And then last over here is transmitter voltage, and this receiver battery is the receiver voltage that the receiver is seeing from the Kyber. My top corner here is a Wi-Fi status indicator. I have my Wi-Fi on this button, so I can turn that on, and that now for programming the Kyber turns the Wi-Fi on or off. This button also lights up, but I had an extra cell, so I added that. So for right now, that's it. It's a work in progress. I'm sure as I use the droid more, and then certainly as I add functions, some of these specifics will change. But that's the nice thing about radios like this. Everything can be reconfigured and changed to suit your liking, or or, you know, as things change. So let me know if you guys have any other questions, and that's all for now. Thanks.